All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We have Brandon Copeland here, and we're going to open it up. We're just going to start with questions. And first one in will be Alan Siegel.
Brandon, welcome to New England.
Thank you. Thanks.
What was your opinion playing with the team you played with, the few teams, watching the Patriots, and what sort of do you connect and want to connect with this team?
Sorry, say it chopped up a little bit. I think you said what was my opinion playing with former teams of.
Yeah, what was your opinion of watching from afar from other teams against the Patriots, and when you became a free agent and stuff? What brought you to New England?
Yeah, I think the opinion when you watch obviously going against the Patriots is they're a team that does not make a lot of mistakes, and you have to. As coaches, every single week you try to go into motivate your players, and literally, every week when you're going against quote unquote a dynasty, right? Not even a quote unquote a dynasty like the Patriots. Coaches try to sell you and tell you, we don't have to play superhuman. You don't have to do all X, Y, and Z, right? We just got to play our game and outplay them, But ultimately, the coach is telling you that they understand that you actually have to play pretty damn well to compete and keep up with these guys, because as a unit they move and I'm proud to say we move as a unit collectively, and you just when you look at them on looking at them in the past film, you could tell that there was a lot of trust on the field in terms of people being in the right position, the right time, not too many guys trying to do multiple jobs in the sense of feeling like they need to overcompensate for the man next to them. And so I think that they vibe really well as a team in the years that I've looked at them and gone against them. And as a free agent, coming, having an opportunity to be a part of this organization, it's just the organization. I think the simplest way to put it is there's certain things that you do in life where you say, where you have that tagline, so to speak, and you don't have to explain anything else after that, right? And this is going in my 5th team, my 8th season in the NFL, and once I told a couple of my buddies, or some random person, hey, I'm playing with the Patriots now. I don't, period. Right. And I know this might come off, I hope this doesn't come off as arrogant or anything like that, but it's like at that point in time, whoever I'm talking to understands that I'm a legit player, right? Just because you wouldn't even make it into this organization unless you were. And it reminds me of my rookie year, for example. I played with the Baltimore Ravens, another pretty well-established franchise, so to speak. And I remember my rookie year, one of our first defensive meeting, it was 26 of us rookies in the meeting, and the coordinator at the time, Dean Pease, comes in and he says, listen, you don't even make it in this room unless you are an animal, right? Unless you're just a legit athlete, defensive player, savage-like on the field, you don't even make it in this room. So let's take that out the equation. Now, what'll keep you in this room is your attention to detail, your preparation, all of those types of things. And so I think, it's 8 years later, being an undrafted free agent, at that time I'm wide-eyed and just trying to, keep up. Now, 8 years later, to come and step into another organization that's like that, I'm extremely excited.
Next question will be Mike Patriot, followed by Mike Reese.
Thanks, Stacy. Brandon, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You have a unique background, graduating from the University of Pennsylvania in a degree, I believe, that matches your head coach, Bill Belichick. Have you had a chance to talk with him, and is he aware that you both have the economics degree as a background?
That's a great question. Yes, I've had the chance to talk with him. I'm not sure. I didn't even know that he had a economics background. That's pretty cool. But no, we haven't particularly spoken about that.
If I can follow up, how do you think your experience at the University of Pennsylvania. You've been with several NFL teams, but your experience as an undrafted free agent making it with the Ravens has helped you along in your career.
Yeah, I think to come into the league and to go to a franchise like that, it was. I think, well, let's backtrack. So, undrafted free agent from the University of Pennsylvania. I've played defensive line my entire life. My grandfather played for 11 years in the NFL, won a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Colts. He lost Super Bowl III to Joe Namath and those guys. He was a defensive end, hand in the dirt all the time. I was like that my entire life. I got to Baltimore, and I thought that I was, you're going to be an outside linebacker. And I get there, and I'm a middle linebacker, right? So, from the jump, you go from going forward your entire life to now, the year after Ray Lewis retires, now you're making calls. And to be quite honest with you, at the time, I remember thinking about, it's funny thinking about it now, but I remember trying to learn coverages, and I'm relating, the certain drops in the coverage to the little color bubbles on it, right? For me, I think that the University of Pennsylvania degree, or just my ambition and understanding how to study and what works for me and what allows me to retain information, helped me fast track and learn how to play middle linebacker quick enough to keep my foot in the door in Baltimore, to give me a chance to be here today, if that makes sense, right? What also happened that season as well, that fourth preseason game, I'm sure I was probably going to be cut. I mean, I know I had to be a camp body, to be quite honest with you. Looking at the linebacker room with Jamil Lane, Josh Bynes, Albert McClellan, who was here, a bunch of other guys. And that fourth preseason game, somebody went down right before half, and I played outside linebacker. And in a half, that's old school fourth preseason game. You're just trying to make it through. And I had a bunch of tackles. I remember Ted Monachino calling from the sideline, telling me when to go and when to drop, because I hadn't practiced that. It hadn't learned it at all the entire camp. But I did very well at it. I think I got like 7 tackles in a quarter or something like that. And it's funny thinking about it in reflection, that's kind of my NFL career, right? In terms of being able to be put in different situations and actually thrive, right? And I think that there wasn't a class about this at Penn in terms of like, hey, let's be thrown in the quote unquote fire and sink. I mean, or let's be thrown in the water and swim, so to speak. But being able to pick up information quickly, and then use the athletic gifts to make sure that I can show off my talents as well, has helped me. And again, 8 years later, it's worked. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question, Mike Reese, followed by Doug Kide.
Great. Brandon, nice to meet you face to face. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Everything's going great, thank you. I was looking back through some pictures of your career, and I remember seeing you in 48, 51, and 95 at various points. So just curious what you have now, if anything. Do you have one yet? Or?
No, I'm curious. I know I really like 51, but I know Jawan Bentley has that. So we'll see. We'll see. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get into the locker room or anything like that and have those conversations. Hopefully a rookie doesn't come and just take whatever I want,
There you go. But what I was most curious about, Brandon, was you're entering a new team at a very interesting time, where you can't get into the facility. So one, what has that process been like in terms of getting acclimated? And two, you've actually been pretty active in the community. And so I'd be curious to know like what you're doing in that area to help people through this pandemic.
Yeah, thank you. I think for me, obviously it's definitely different not being able to be with the team, especially, being the first year guy. Obviously I'm not a rookie. I know what to expect, but, it's just something different getting in the locker room with guys and working next to guys and, pushing each other in workouts, and so that they can start to understand who I am not only as a person, but also as a player and a teammate, right? Pushing them through stuff, them pushing me, all of those types of things. You can't, we won't be able to replicate or get that time back per se, right? Like I'm not going to, you can't fabricate that. And for me personally, like I'm in, we have a townhouse in New Jersey. We have a 1-car garage. I've turned that into a pseudo gym to train. But again, that's me. And sometimes my dad, and it's not necessarily the same, clearly. But regardless, it is what it is, right? One of the best lessons I ever learned my rookie year as well is you can't stress what you can't control. I can't control everything. Like, I can't control whether we can go to facility or not. I can't control this pandemic. Clearly, I wish it wasn't here, but I can't control it. All I can control is my workout for the day, my nutrition, my habits, the things that I actually have over. I'm focusing on making sure that I maximize, excuse my language, maximizing the hell out of those each and every single day, right? And I'm also using this this is time where, I probably, my wife and I have a 9-month-old, he'll be 10 months on Saturday. If everything was normal, we'd probably be long distance at this time. She works for Google in New York. And so home base is New Jersey. She's from here and everything like that. And she's feeding baby boy. I can't feed him now. So, we'd probably be distant. So again, you got to take the good with the bad, so to speak, in the sense of it's an opportunity. He just started crawling a couple weeks ago. I would have missed that if I wasn't here, right? So that's that. In the community, I teach a class on financial literacy, so I'm used to the virtual space. We had to convert everything to the virtual space, just like the NFL has had to, and you guys are having to. So it's an adjustment we all have to make, and I'm very comfortable in it. Started doing some webinars for players for financial literacy. Also, my foundation, I'm big in terms of trying to make sure I'm pulling others up the ladder as I go. My foundation is called Beyond the Basics, Inc. What we're doing a first ever virtual football camp. I think it's probably the first ever virtual football camp. That'll be next Saturday. Typically, we were going on our 5th annual football camp. We really, to be quite honest, care nothing about football. We have NFL players there as the draw, but literally we did 1,000. All the kids came last year. They did 1,000 book bags, filled them up with school supplies, 1,000 hygiene kits, and passed them to Baltimore City. Then we also talk about character traits, and they all turn in their report cards and get prizes based on good character traits with good grades. But we're trying to make sure we take that and embody that in the virtual camp space next Saturday. So really looking forward to it. As well as we're doing a lot of food initiatives. There's a lot of people who are hungry at this time. And so we've partnered with a couple organizations to not only deliver food to people in extreme need, right? Like they don't know where their next meal is going to come. So delivering them a week's worth of groceries in Baltimore, as well as delivering food, buying food from local mom and pop shops in the Baltimore area. That's my hometown, and delivering it directly to healthcare workers in the hospitals. So, you got your COVID wings, your ICU wings, and all of that type of stuff, but supporting those local mom and pop shops. And then finally, going to grocery stores and just swiping we're doing $10,000 in Baltimore, $10,000 in New Jersey, both my wife and I's hometowns. And then finally, we're also going to introduce ourselves to the Boston, New England area by doing $10,000 in groceries in impoverished neighborhoods out there. And so hopefully we can start that up in the 2 weeks. Really, give you guys a little bit too much probably, but we're just looking for the right, not only neighborhood, but also organization, grocery stores that want to partner in this with us, right? We're putting up the money to do it, but I'm sure, we can all attest that the grocery stores are probably one of the few companies that aren't hurting right now and they have these budgets. So why don't you guys throw on some more, and we can help more people, so to speak, and feed more people. You guys are fine. I'm long-winded too. So.
Next
Thank you.
question, Doug Hyde, followed by Evan Lazar.
Hi, Brandon. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us today. You talked a little bit about your versatility. Do you have a sense of whether you are going to be playing off the line or on the line? And then just another question as well. You talked about your grandfather. I know that Bill Belichick grew up in the Maryland area. Has he talked to you at all about your grandfather?
Unfortunately, we haven't had the chance to, have, extremely long conversations. But I'm definitely looking forward to having all those conversations. I'd love to hear his thoughts. My grandfather, unfortunately, he passed away last January as well. So, anytime I can talk about him, I'm a happy person, right? Happy grandson. But in terms of my own role here, for me, I'm literally going in and just trying to learn as much as possible. I'm obviously a linebacker body type, but for me, I'm trying to learn. Literally, I've realized what has kept me in the league and kept me in the league I won't even put a tag to it, but it kept me in the league for this long and at the level I played at is the fact that I can do multiple things at a high level. And so for me, I'll never try to take that away. I remember there was a game years ago in Detroit where I went from playing defensive end in a 4-point stance to outside linebacker, the Sam linebacker, to middle linebacker, the dime linebacker, and all 4 special teams. Like I literally, that was my, first active season in the NFL. And I was like, wow, like I'm one of the few I remember we played against the Tennessee Titans at the time. And I'm like, wow, like I'm probably the one guy in this arena that can play 8 different positions today like this, right? So for me, I'm learning it. I trained to become a weapon, and then I'm excited to let the coaching staff do whatever they want to with me.
Next question, Evan Lazar, followed by Mark Daniels.
Hey, Brandon. Welcome to New England. Doug kind of just stole my question, but I'll just ask you about special teams. Actually, you contribute a lot there with the Jets, and just big thing in New England as well. So just wondering where exactly in special teams you were playing, and what you like about playing in the kicking game.
Yeah, I think I'll probably be in. I don't know specific positions and all of that type of stuff, but I'll probably be in similar roles. I mean, it's more of a body type thing. I would think at this point in terms of punt and punt return and literally everything. For me, I'm the guy who my first year I was practice squad. Second year got cut from practice squad after 2 weeks and sat out the rest of the season. Basically told you're not good enough. Right? Did workouts and didn't get a shot. Came back, did the combine in 2015 and. That's when I ran a 4.51 and been playing active ever since. For me, I'll never turn down an opportunity to be on the field. So for me, I'm looking forward to getting out there. I've had nothing but battles against, the Patriots in the past special teams game. So I'm excited to be with the good guys, so to speak, and to go to work with these guys.
Thanks, Brandon.
And 2 final questions. We'll go Mark Daniels and Ian Steele. Go ahead, Mark.
Thanks, Stacy. Hey, Brandon. What are your goals going into this first season with the Patriots, and what do you hope that to show to your teammates and fans, and what do you hope they'll learn about you?
Yeah, great question. Great question. So, for me, I think this is where this virtual space affects that, right? Like it affects your amount of time to get to know your teammate and to be in the locker room and joke with someone next to you and create that off the field impact relationship, so to speak, right? Like we can't hang out after a workout and all of that type of stuff. So, however, with that being said, with whatever time that we do have, I just want to leave my mark on everyone I come into contact with, and whether that's the player next to me, the player opposite from me on the offensive side, the chef, the janitor, right? Like I've been fortunate to, and the same thing for the Patriot fans and followers. I've been fortunate to I think, personally leave a positive mark anywhere I go. And for me, that is the most important thing. When I step on the field, you're going to get my all, right? There's never going to be what you look at and be like, did he give his all there or not, right? Like, you're going to get a fighter, you're going to get a dog who's going to work his tail off. That's base level ground line, right? After that, that's where the true impact is made of like those conversations and that person and making that true human interaction. And so, I pray we get the time to do that regardless of it, regardless of how shortened or whatever of a time we have together to train leading up to the season. It's natural when you're sweating and pushing each other. It's natural that you build those bonds that last forever. So.
And our last question will be Ian Steele.
Thanks, Stacy. Brandon, thanks for taking the time. Really appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure's all mine.
You just kind of went through it a little bit there, but you teach, you run a foundation, you are a football player, and you're also going to be playing catch up to get to know teammates, playbooks, and all this. Mm-hmm. How do you manage your time? And has that been a challenge for you in the past? And how do you plan to do it moving forward with New England?
Yeah. Compartmentalization. I think that, you understand what you can affect in moments, right? And so, for example, right now we're in this interview. There's nothing that is affecting that bubble or that space, right? The same happens when I'm preparing for a game or preparing and watching film during the week or recovering or anything like that. And so for me, compartmentalization is everything, and then obviously prioritization. So it is clearly, obviously, God, family, football but it's making sure that you do everything necessary to make sure that you don't leave this game, this practice, this rep with regrets. And so the only way I can do that is by making sure I exhaust myself in that preparation and that training. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people, not even just in football. I mean, I've just seen it in my own intern experiences and stuff like that. There's a lot of people in this world who leave things with regret because they didn't put in that extra ounce, that extra workout, that extra time, right? And that will never be me. So for me, I always say, quote, make time, right? Like if it's something that you really want to do, make the time to do it. I really want to make sure that at my funeral, right, like as grim as that may sound, there's more people talking about the holiday shopping spree we took them on or the groceries that we gave them during a crazy time like this than, a sack that I'm going to have this year or something like that. And again, I know that might be weird to say in a forum like this, but I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. So it's not that it becomes a priority. Football is the key to all of this stuff, right? And I understand that if without football makes all these different things easier, but football is the main focus. You give everything to that. And then once you turn to the other thing, that's when you give 100% to that. And the final thing I'll leave you with, my high school coach used to always say, we were training I went to a pretty prestigious high school program, football program, Coach Biff Poggi, high school that he recently went to, got kicked out of the league for being too good, as crazy as that sounds, down in Baltimore. ESPN did a story on them and everything like that, St. Francis Academy. But it was true program, and the motto was building men for others, right? Like trying to build young people who helped other people. But one of the things he always said, and we were damn good in football, you can't work out all day. Like you can't work out for 24 hours, right? So in that other time, instead of me, no offense to people who do, instead of me playing video games or something else, I'm just, thinking about my football camp or thinking about, a class lesson or something like that. So you make time for the things you want.
Brandon, thank you very much. That was very helpful, and we look forward to seeing you back up in New England soon.
Likewise. Look forward to meeting you all in person one day. Thank you so much.